So here's the clutch. I don't know if you should be able to see it there. The fingers are not evenly sticking out, and they're also notched pretty bad. You see the notches in the fingers there. But you can see all this friction material here. That's all there, and see here, looks like friction material shattered or came off of the disc or something, I'm not sure. So let's pop the pressure plate off and see what it looks like underneath.
That's definitely powdery. Don't breathe that crap.
Yeah, look at that. Separated. All the friction material came off. See? All the friction material came off. Okay, well I guess let's see what it takes to get the flywheel off. That was simple. Okay, so we got the bearing out there, you can see. Didn't get it on video, unfortunately. What I ended up doing was, there's the bearing, you see. The grease idea didn't work. What I ended up doing was getting a bolt, in this case an Allen bolt, that fit into the bearing, and then I slid it over so this was catching on the lip of the inner race, and then I just slide hammered it out of there, and that ended up pulling it out. So between those two methods, hopefully you can figure something out. Alright, so we got it all cleaned out. At this point I'm just going to replace, I already have a seal from a full gasket kit that I bought earlier for that rear main seal, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace that. Bolts are out. Yeah.
Those are my only ideas.
Okay.
Afterthoughts. For future reference.
My next clutch.
How's it going?
Okay, I guess.
You doing the main seal now?
Yeah. Okay, so there's the back plate that goes on the back of the motor that holds the rear main seal. I got that cleaned up good enough to put the new seal in. And here's the new seal. So we're just going to grease this up, grease up the hole that this fits into, and hammer it in. Doesn't need a lot, just needs to be slippery. And we'll do the same to the seal. It's actually easier to just push it in by hand. Okay, so now we're ready to put that new seal with its housing back in. You notice that the old gasket's still there, where I'm going to leave that there. I have another new gasket, and we're going to place that on there. Now what this is going to do is move that bearing house, or the seal housing, this way, and it'll move it as far as this gasket is thick. And what that'll do, now most likely this crankshaft has a ridge in it from the old seal riding in it, but this will move this cover out, and it won't be riding in that groove anymore, so it should seal better. Obviously, before you put this on, you want to make sure that you clean this with a piece of emery paper. I used some 2000 grit sandpaper just to take off anything that was left on there, and then clean it off with brake cleaner. And then you want to smother everything around here with silicone sealant, because it's got to seal against the oil pan. And it doesn't hurt to put silicone sealant on this gasket also. Slide this thing onto here. I'm sure that the factory service manual says to remove the oil pan to do this, but I really don't feel like doing that. Alright, at this point, silicones had time to dry, so you can go ahead and torque all these. I already torqued them, but you can see there, they're all clicking. So once you got those torqued down, then you're ready to install the pilot bearing. So you get your new bearing, and just tap it in. Be careful only to tap on the outside race. Using a 24mm socket here, but your brand may vary. There it is. That's it. I greased it up a little bit before I tapped it in, so that makes it go in a little easier. And there it is. Don't forget this adapter plate. Now we're ready to install our freshly reground flywheel. Don't worry about cleaning up the surface yet. We'll do that once it's mounted, because you're probably going to get fingerprints on it when you're putting it on. You probably also want to use some blue Loctite on these bolts. You can use red Loctite, but you know, I mean, they were fine in there without any Loctite, but so I'm just going to put the blue stuff on there. Now to torque these, you're going to have to be able to hold the flywheel from spinning. So I put in a bolt here, and I got a piece of flat stock. That'll hold that. And then you can torque these to 65 foot-pounds. Now you can clean all your fingerprints and grease off your flywheel using isopropyl alcohol. The side that says flywheel side goes against your flywheel. Make sure you don't put it on the wrong way. Most kits will come with this tool, which you absolutely need in order to center the disc on the flywheel. Pressure plate goes on next. You can Loctite these too if you want. Give them just a drop. Once they're all snugged, you can torque them down to 14 foot-pounds. Now I need to get the throwout bearing off of the this hub that it's connected to. So I got it here. I got a socket that fits in there pretty good, and so let's see if we can tap it out. There's the old throwout bearing. Here's the little hub thing that it connected to. So let's clean this up. Now it's all cleaned up, we can toss a new bearing on there. So it's already kind of set on there. Let's get a socket and tap it on. And that's as far as that goes. Good to go. Now I'll just slide that onto there. This little clip goes with this flat section towards the bearing, and this rounded section towards the fork. And there's two of them. They both go the same way. And we can put a little bit of grease on these splines here.